Hey, welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday. Happy March 6th. Can't believe it. This could be my last video as a 43-year-old. I'll be turning 44 on Friday. Have to work on Friday, but I look forward to having a good shift of work, serving a lot of seafood for Lent, fish dinners, and I look forward to having a nice day. I think it's going to be partly sunny. You know I'll be getting a Dunkin' Donuts coffee that day, maybe playing some records, do a little bit of side hustling, shopping in the morning, as you know I love to do. Today's topic is going to be pretty much all about anxiety and just kind of like a talk about it, what we can do about it, and then some techniques, some mental and some physical techniques, I guess, to get rid of them. I'm at $230 this week from my Instacart and Walmart Spark shopping. I was out there for darn near 4 hours today in the rain. It was the kind of rain that was like a mist to a sprinkle. It wasn't a downpour. So it was nice. It even added a little bit to it in a weird way, man. I must be a crazy person to like doing it so much, I tell you that. But it was fun. The day before, it was like $30 order, $30 order, $30 order. And then like before work, I had to actually turn it off, and it was painful to turn it off because I had to turn off another $30 order. I had to just relax a little bit before I went and waited tables, and it was a slow night of waiting tables. And I thought to myself, boy, I probably would have made a lot more had I not, called off and rested and ate lunch and got dressed and went to go wait. But that's how it is. Today was kind of the opposite. A lot of small orders, a lot of $10 orders, $15 orders. I don't think I saw a $20 order. Some no tips, of course. If I get a little frisky, I'll try to overlay this, one of my last trips. It was a larger order, $15, no tip. And it was like this, almost like a junkyard that I went to. It seemed like a nice house. I was kind of creeped. Nice house, but just junk and bikes and everything's strewn about the yard. There was like a pond off to the side as you entered the driveway. And you had to drive over these planks, and the planks weren't solid. Oh, what a nightmare. But I survived that. I did take a little video of it. But let's get to today's topic. I was talking with a friend who doesn't know anything about this channel, or, no one really knows anything about anyone, what it really boils down to. And you don't know the battles that people are facing. And everyone has their own battles, right? So be kind, that's what they say. And this person who you would never think is suffering from anxiety and has gone to therapy for years. Crippling anxiety, where you can just be down in the fetal position. And then some days can be the life of the party, and chipper and has a mask on, perhaps, I guess we all have our own masks. And, it made me think, it made me a little sad. I wish I could have helped more. I did kind of point her to some stoicism, and they didn't know what stoicism was. I couldn't get too deep into it, but I go, please look at, please check it out. It really helped me. We've all been there. And this person was talking about how sometimes they can't drink because they're just too upset on the inside and too anxious, perhaps. And I think I felt like that before, where I felt so bad that I didn't want to drink. It's weird to put myself back there. But that's a tough position to be in. And I've talked to one or two other people who have said that. And when this was coming out yesterday, I was kind of like, oh, I know how that is. And maybe sometimes I think that God put me through that on purpose, because I used to like to drink and I used to like to go out quite a bit. And then you just get used to not drinking. And then before you know it, you're just kind of out of that phase and onto a new phase of breaking free and trying to never feel like that again. So what am I going to talk about today? I want to talk about 3 Bible verses that have to deal with anxiety, and a few ones that I haven't brought up before. If you have been a long-time listener, I've cited Bible verses before with anxiety. I've cited Stoic quotations on anxiety, and I tried to make them a little different this time around. And there's so many of them. and then some techniques that might help for you, that have helped me. The first Bible verse on anxiety is Peter 5:6-7. It says, "Humble yourselves." And I underlined humble yourselves. I'll tell you why. "Therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time," underlined, "he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you." So, like, why would I underline humble yourself? Maybe because we can't do it all on our own. I can't do it all on my own. I need help. We need help. It takes humbleness to admit that, to work on yourself, to admit that you have problems, to see your weaknesses, your blind spots, and to not ignore them, like we talked about on Monday with the 20 things that you're afraid to hear. Humble yourselves. And you can't do it on your own. So at the proper time, he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him. At the proper time, I think my anxieties did go onto him, and I felt a lot better. I'm certainly not by any means perfect and have no anxiety in my life. I have anxiety turning on this camera. I have anxiety every day before I send the kids off to school. And we say our prayer that says, and I've said it before, "Dear God, bless my mommy and daddy, friends and family, sister, and all those in need. Thank you for this beautiful day, and thank you for," and then we list like a lot of different things. And then we say amen, and we kind of switch it up every day. And that helps me because I started saying that when the kids first had to leave the nest, right, and go to preschool and now elementary school and soon to be the junior high. And that helps with my anxieties of sending them out into the world. The Tuesday I came back before work, after vacation, I had a little episode, maybe 25 minutes before work, all imagined, all in my head, And I was fine, of course, because everything we imagine almost doesn't come true. There's absolutely no reason to it, So let me tell you, this stuff still helps me as well. The second Bible verse that deals with anxiety, John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." So not as the world gives to us. The world can give to us shit, right? I think of, was it Thomas Hobbes, who wrote the Leviathan, and his philosophy on life was that it was nasty, cruel, brutish, and short. And, I don't think that's my philosophy on life. Nasty, cruel, brutish, and short. But, man, it's a tough, crazy world out there. It really is. And it might be like that for a lot of people, unfortunately. And I consider myself extremely lucky, which is why I'm fairly content with what I have, which will just lead into more Stoic philosophy. And I think that all kind of ties into each other. But I give to you not as the world gives to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. And a lot of it, the anxiety that you have is fear-based. Fear on what could happen, what people might think. How am I going to do? Don't be afraid of anything. It doesn't matter. You got to shoot your shot. What's the worst that could happen? I think the more fear we put into things, the more we let it bother us. As long as you do your best and not let your heart be troubled, God's going to give to you better than this world can give to you at the moment. There's nothing to be afraid of. The third one, Hebrews 13:6. "So we can confidently say, 'The Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me?'" What can he do? Why do I got to be afraid of? What am I going to get fired? What am I going to get hit? Laughed at? And I try to put myself into positions where I can be resilient, where I won't break, where I will be not just resilient, but anti-fragile. Which means you actually can get stronger in those situations, in the cold, What can man do to me? None of that stuff's in my control. We all love ourselves, but we care more about the opinions of others than we do about ourselves, is another Stoic thing. I think back of all the times at work, I put so much pressure on myself and try not to upset anybody. And I get all worked up about it, and that can be seen as a weakness and exploited. I will not fear. What can man do to me? What's the worst that can happen? I'll be fine, because I busted my ass to put myself in a position to be fine, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, so on and so forth. So I liked those 3 Bible verses. I want to get into a few Stoic quotes here real quick. The first one is by Epictetus. It says, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify," which I underlined, "and separate." Identify each thing and separate matters so that I can clearly say to myself what are externals not under my control and what are, in which do I have the choice that I actually control internals. Externals, can I identify them? First, before we can know what they are, the stuff that's freaking us out, that we're anxious over, we got to identify what is within our control and what is not. And until you practice this, you don't know. Because you keep going over and over in your head, the past. Oh, I got to change the past. The past sucks. I can't do this. The future, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? The actions of others. This person said this to me. This person did this to me. Others' opinions. This person thinks I suck. Will this person like me? What others think of me. My clothes. The outcomes of my efforts. I tried so hard, but I couldn't do this. How others take care of themselves. Doesn't he or she see that this is not working? Why won't they change? All that stuff's external. Identify those things. And Stoicism is pretty blunt. It's maybe a little bit more blunt than the Bible in some ways. What externals are not in my control? Goners. Do not worry about that stuff. What are the things that you can actually control? Your boundaries. Physically, mentally. Got to set some boundaries. Be assertive. And put yourself in a position of strength so that you can set those boundaries. What's a position of strength? Well, we talk about it a lot on this channel. Your thoughts and your actions are within your control. Your thoughts. I somewhat agree with that because negative stuff's going to pop into your head. It's the monkey mind. I think there's a lot of mindfulness, a lot of zen, a lot of awareness that goes into it, and the self-talk, both out loud and inner. I don't know if we can control every thought that bounces around in our head, but I do believe we can control our actions, and we can take action to understand those thoughts and to limit those thoughts, to extend the space between thoughts. This is getting deep. This is nirvana. The goals I set are within my control of physical, financial, spiritual. Any goals that you set, that is within your control. What are you prioritizing? I set goals for myself that I wanted to make money outside of my main job. I didn't want to be reliant anymore. I felt trapped. I needed to break free. I needed to break free from anything holding me back from having the best day ever. I wanted to be debt-free, fear-free, pain-free. So, I still got a ways to go. Stress-free, anxiety-free, fear-free, all the things that we can keep doing. And it's a process. I don't think I've arrived. It's always a process. Life is a journey. So I prioritize that. Your self-talk, that is within our control. That, I won't even get into it. How I handle challenges is within my control. The next Stoic quote by Epictetus. When I see an anxious person, I ask myself, what do they want? What do they want? What does this anxious person want? For if a person wasn't wanting something, outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? Wanting things outside of your control will make you anxious. Wanting things outside of your control will make you anxious. I want the weather to be good. I want my boss to treat me this way. I want business to be this way. I want the tips to be this way. I want my partner to be this way. I want this other person to act this way. To think this way. All that stuff's outside. If I do a certain thing, I want it to end up a certain way. It's not in our control. Anything outside of our control will give us anxiety that we want. Next quote by Seneca, we are more often frightened, which I underlined, than hurt. And we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. Maybe my second favorite Stoic quote on anxiety. We are more often frightened. We're fearful. Let not your hearts be fearful, than hurt. Only place where hurt is in our heads. And we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Break free from fear. True happiness, the next quote, is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence, underlined, upon the future. Dependence. Be okay now, and you won't be so dependent on the future. That's what I try to do. Not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied. For he that is wants nothing. Rest satisfied, for he that is wants nothing. The greatest blessing of mankind is within us, underlined, which is going to tie into the last quote, and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing, circled, for what he has not. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. So, can we just be content with our lots? No, I don't think so. I've expanded my lot, I would say, in the last 20 years, 10 years. So, how do we, according to the Stoics, how do we maybe progress or strive for more without anxiety? Wishing that I had a better business, wishing that I had a boat, wishing that I had a bigger truck, a bigger house, wishing for this and that. No, screw wishing. I X'd it out, circled it, and X'd it. Hard work instead. If we're not content with where we are now, let's not wish about it. I wish I had more guitars. I wish I had more records. Comparing, I'm all freaked out. Work hard for it. If you want more of that stuff, then maybe you got to go get it. And that's within our control. And if it doesn't work out, that's not within our control. But at least we tried our best. At least we're not wishing for stuff that we don't have. I don't know. Be okay now. We won't have to have anxious dependence on the future. And finally, Marcus Aurelius says, today I escaped anxiety. No, I discarded it because it was within me. In my own perceptions, not outside. My perceptions of Mondays, the Sunday scaries, my perceptions, your perceptions of your boss, your perceptions, my perceptions of the rain. None of that shit matters. Today I escaped anxiety. No, because you know what you escape from? Stuff that you fear. No, I don't fear anxiety. He discarded it like a piece of paper. This is your anxiety. And you discard it into the circular file. That's what the teachers call the garbage, right? So let's just talk about, finally, what are a few things that you can do to ease some anxious episodes that you might have. And yeah, it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen just like this. You're not going to be Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, but through effort, through hard work, through clarity, mindfulness. It can happen. I think vinyl records help me. It's a time commitment. It's a concentration. You're listening instead of scrolling, instead of being in front of the TV. It's a stress reliever. It's a little mini vacation for your brain. It's nostalgic. It puts you in a good mood. What else? Affirmations. You got to do whatever it takes here. Gratitude journal really helped me out a lot. Dancing. Maybe you can dance to the music that you got. Maybe you can go out and dance. Walking is humongous. Talking with somebody who cares or somebody who can listen. Slow, deep breaths, yoga, meditation, working out, laughter, asserting yourself, chewing gum. I like mints. When I get a little anxious, I get a little mint in. I'm fine. Have a little zen zone going on. Man cave, woman cave, safe spot, music room, crafting room, whatever it is. Reading room. Be organized. It's going to reduce the anxiety in your life. Alone time. This is my alone time. This is what I choose to do, and it really reduces my anxiety. This makes me happy. Stretch. Let me know some things that I missed. Let me know some Bible verses that could be added to the conversation. Let me know some Stoic philosophies that could be added. Let me know some other philosophies. Let me know what you're thinking. And I hope you are breaking free.